All right, we are live.
Okay.
We'll give people sort of a minute or two to catch the notification and hop in as we're doing this. But um, just to kick it off for why we're here this time, we're here with Jesse, Justin, and Matt basically to talk more in depth about the behind the scenes of the new EP, Heads and Hooves, which is dropping June 19th. You can pre-order the awesome album in merch on razortowrist.com anytime now. If you have any comments or questions throughout this, the guys will be monitoring this, so they'll take breaks through each of their discussion points to take a look at the questions, and we'll try to address any that we can. This one, like I said, is going to be focused a little bit more on deconstructing. We hope to hear you guys talk about each of the tracks, maybe some of your writing process from them. We touched a little bit before on sort of some high level, anecdotes about the tracks and what you've been doing. But maybe a little bit of a deeper dive this time around would be cool.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for that fantastic intro, Mike. We appreciate it. And yeah, we're looking forward to doing this. We put a lot of thought into this one and what we wanted to talk about and dig a little deeper. We had a lot of fun on the last chat, so we thought it would be fun to do this again. So I think we'll dig right into the writing of the album. I think, well, Justin, you can kick this off with the origins and the concepts of Heads and Hooves as a whole.
As a whole, I mean, I kind of briefly touched on it last time, but usually I just kind of take notes on my phone whenever I have ideas that I think are neat, like the Heads and Hooves thing. As a matter of fact, I was just pulling it up on my phone. I have a buddy who happens to be at the place I was talking about before. I guess I can't beat around the bush, but this is at the Kentucky Derby site, and those are the headstones, and it's actually their heads, hearts, and hooves. It's to show our appreciation for these fallen people or things we enjoy so much. But yeah, so Heads and Hooves came from that. I explained it last time. But honestly, I usually just kind of go by I didn't have a whole lot prepared that I went off of. Heads and Hooves, I think, was the only one that I had beforehand. Really, I just kind of vibe off the music and then build out from there.
Definitely.
That's kind of, I mean, to go really high level on this, but that's kind of what I love about being in this band is that the music isn't just chug chug thump thump. It's your the melodic minor and your sense of melody brings a lot out of me. It gives me, it's just fucking ideas, man.
I appreciate that, man, and that's really the goal for me. Even if it's a partial idea, when I give it to you guys, I want you to no words, no lyrics, no vocal melody on it. I want you to be able to go, oh shit, I felt that before. Like that dust is on my boots too, So that's always the target. It's never, and sometimes it's the company with like, oh, that riff's a little ridiculous. That's fun. But that's also its own emotion, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So you want to dig into some of the lyrical themes on the other songs? I mean, we've got a good chunk out there now. You've got Butter, Godless Endeavors, and Old Hymns out.
Yeah. Old Hymns is pretty straightforward. There was an interview. I've been trying to put it into my words and explain it as best as I can, but somebody actually did a review of it and summed it up better than I did. That felt it made me feel a little dumb, but yeah, it's I've since I became a parent, my writing has changed a lot because I try and be as self-reflective as I can as a person, as a parent, and Old Hymns literally in fact, that Old Hymns was the title that you called the demo track. And it like, what are old hymns? Things, old shit that our parents gave us, our grandparents gave us that we, and I'm not a religious person. So to me, old hymns are the shit that I don't want, that I keep carrying around for no reason. And I kind of expounded on that in the track. I thought it came out awesome, man. I like the song a lot. Butter is, I had some ideas for it when I was first kind of humming along to it, and then I kind of flipped the script about what my original idea was, because people, I feel like it's cliche in metal to write about, oh, I hate this guy, I hate these kind of people, or whatever, things that make me mad. And I kind of started down that path in my head about the kind of people that are super manipulative and just horrible, manipulate other people. But then I thought it was a lot more interesting to write it about the people that are so susceptible to it. Not in a negative way, just in a, wow, that's so weird. Like like everybody's had that friend who's dating a horrible guy or a horrible girl who just mistreats them and they just keep going back, like, or people that get schmoozed into joining cults or other things like that. That, to me, that's what that song is about, is the people who fall for shit. And
most of
it's
us
hard
have
to
been there.
Oh yeah,
Right.
in some
Most
way,
of us have been
yeah,
in that
absolutely.
thing where you're so deep in the weeds that you can't even see where you are.
Yeah. Born to feed the charismatic beast. Everybody falls for the right kind of charisma, man. That's what that one's about. You want me to go into Godless, or do you want to go into something else?
Yeah, go into Godless. That's personally one of my favorite tracks on the EP. Lyrically, musically, melodically, everything. One of my top favorites in the bunch.
That song. So I've been married for almost 13 years now, but I write a lot about breakups. Very Tom Waits. Not me. I'm not comparing myself to Tom Waits, but I write a lot about sadness and feelings that I have felt, and I write kind of stories and situations around them. But Godless Endeavors is about let's say a breakup and seeing the person you lost, like you used to worship them. They were like your fucking deity, and the ways that it's just kind of expanding on that idea is kind of where that one came from. It's kind of hard to explain. It's a little bit, I don't want to say stupid, but I thought as it was coming out, I was like, oh, this is, I could talk about this sort of thing that happens in a relationship in this way, in the metaphor for a god that you're worshiping or whatever. I don't know. I'm not feeling, I don't feel like I'm being especially intelligent about the way I'm saying it. This is not beer. I don't have an excuse.
No, and it's also hard to lyrically, a lot of things can be interpreted in so many ways. So I appreciate
that's what I wrote it about. That was the thought process behind it. The Godless Endeavor is living life without, becoming an atheist, but in terms of someone you used to worship.
Getting off that thing, moving on.
Yeah.
No,
that's that.
That's perfect. So while we're on the topic of writing and everything, we can talk about the songwriting process overall. I mean, if anybody doesn't know, we're pretty spread out. Justin's in San Antonio. I'm in Columbus, Ohio. Matt and Dan are still in Chicago. So a lot of the origins, I'll throw together a demo and try to structure it and get a full song idea fleshed out, and then flip it to the guys. And then they start tinkering with it. It'll be, let's try, can we speed it up? Can we slow it down? Chop this section out. Let's try, we need something more here. And that happened with a lot of the songs. I think Butter is probably the only one that wasn't restructured in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I don't even know. I think it was.
We just bumped it up a little bit. We bumped up the BPM a little bit, but that was about it.
And that was late in the game too. That was in the studio tracking drums,
and it was very minute. It was not a whole lot.
Like
3 BPM,
5, 4 beats, something like that. Hey, I just wanted to do when we finished that demo, all of us were so fucking excited about it, and it was just guitar and drums guitar and programmed drums, and then I threw vocals on it, and we were all like, man, fuck, I want to hear this song done. So I actually sat and I tracked bass on it just so we could hear it full, right? It was the demo is me playing bass. That's, dude, when we first kicked out that demo, and then we did Fathers, one of the heaviest song on the EP. Those were the first two. We were all of us were just so fucking giddy.
Yeah. Well, and
it was pretty exciting.
That was really something that was missing from Misery. There was more songs that just didn't make the cut. They didn't get onto the album, and they happened to be the 3 or 4 like ridiculous fast ones. So the fact that we got a straight banger out of the way so early made me really excited about writing. And Fathers, which is the second track on the EP, and it will be the last one to come out. It'll come out with the EP release on the 19th of June. When I sent that to Jason, when I sent him the EP masters, his first response was, dude, track 2 is fucking ridiculous. What is that? Because it goes off.
Dude, so I'll throw something out there about that song. I usually just kind of bang stuff out. That one I was a little hung up on, and I did a demo of it, a quick demo. Sometimes I'll do it in sections if I'm not inspired enough to write the whole song all at once. And I sent Jesse a part, and he's like, man, I'm really hearing like some death metal growls here in this part. And I'm like, I can't do death metal growls, dude. I don't know what to tell you. And I was like, man, I gotta trying to fake, and I, made a sound. And I was like, all right, fuck it. And I sat, recorded it, and sent it back. And he's like, dude, yes. And now there's death metal growls on the album. I've never
all over it.
You made me a very, very happy person with that one.
I think is there a blah in that song? Is that the one?
I think so.
I have pushed so hard to get death metal vocals back into Beneath the Hollow for quite some time, so you have no idea how happy that made me.
Yeah. Oh, specifically on Butter, I think the only thing we did structurally, I tried to shove more into it, and you guys were like, no.
Oh, that's right. There was an extra.
Yes.
I forgot there was an extra part that you're. Yeah.
And that part went into Fathers.
Oh no shit.
Yeah. The bridge of Fathers, I wrote in as I was trying to. I mean, we'll work these songs to death. Like we'll take stuff away, we'll put stuff in. There's no harm in trying anything. So we tried everything that could be tried with these tunes. And I remember the guys I thought Butter was too simple. I was like, it needs something different. And you guys fought me away from it. It was right. It was the right move. That song's got a good vibe. The bridge is cool. It would have just went into a whole nother dimension.
I think you even said that bridge riff was too simple. You're like, no, it needs to be heavier. And it's like,
no,
it's
dude, lame.
It's fucking heavy. No, dude. No, that fucking, those riffs are banger, man.
I appreciate it, man.
For sure.
Shout out to the chat a little bit. We got Taylor Davis saying, "What's up? What's up, man? Appreciate you being here."
Fucking Cody's on here.
Oh yeah, Cody. We'll get to your questions later, but Dan.
Cody's a fucking man.
Not bass player Dan. Dan says Butter is amazing. Pre-ordered and can't wait for the release. Will you open any Polka Cadaver shows this year? Appreciate you, Dan. Appreciate that support. It means a lot. Really helps us be able to, keep doing this thing when the pre-order support is as good as it's been. And so keep it coming, please, y'all. But Polka Dot Cadaver for sure. Yeah, we'll be with Polka Dot in Cleveland at the Foundry, the new Foundry also. So they're in a new building now on June 20th. And there's probably some stuff later in the year coming on, but that's all very hush-hush right now. Top secret information.
I'm glad you said that. I was about to fucking talk about stuff. I don't know what's booked and what isn't.
He's just about to let it all out.
Yeah, right.
Spill them beans.
That world tour, right?
Going to Alaska and the North Pole. We will play for 2 polar bears and 1 seal.
Hey, that'll be pretty sick, actually.
That would be
I love
sick.
seal, man.
I think there might be a few penguins in the bunch.
There you go.
I think they're in Antarctica. They're south. I don't think they're at the North Pole.
Shit.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I
Geographically challenged Americans. God damn it.
I often feel like I heard a fact somewhere and it's complete bullshit.
I watch Animal Planet.
But yeah. So Matt, let's dig into obviously this is a big evolution for us.
Yes.
And we've been doing this for a long time. And I would say, Beneath the Hollow itself seriously became an entity in 2018 when we did Nihilist, which was a lot of fun. Todd came in and worked with us on the songs for that one. And one of the first times that I felt like I could get a decently respectable mix and master out of our home studio. So going from there to where we are now, what do you feel about the evolution?
I feel very happy about it, especially because, as well as anybody, more than anybody else, that I've been pushing to try to get that heavy element back in, like the really heavy elements back into our music for quite some time. So I feel like we kind of went back to our roots from like way back, but way more refined and more focused. So I'm really excited for the direction that we're moving in now. And I can't wait to see what the hell comes next.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm really proud of this group of songs. I think they're really strong. I'm proud of the writing and the collaboration and the working environment. I know we touched on this a little bit last time, but the working environment now is a lot of fun.
Yeah, fist fights, spitting each other's faces. You know.
No, we go with my riff. Christian, what's up, buddy? Good to see you in here.
You see what Razor the Wrist? No safety dance for you.
Yeah. Better be some top secret Orlando dates. That's up to Todd Smith. He's the Florida man. I would love to come down there and do some shows. Like I think we touched on it last time, man. 5 years. I'll be trying to put that together.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
You know what? I think I'm actually going to be in Florida for work this summer. Just saying. Yeah, I'll be in Miami in late July. Just saying.
Oh boy.
We can work around that.
Yeah, let's work something out.
See what we can do. On the topic of evolution and where this whole thing went, I think a lot of that was explored in the writing. None of these songs, they all belong together, but there's definitely not any repeat themes or how sometimes you get an album and you get to track 5 and it's like that you have 4 or 5 of the same songs over and over.
Right.
We didn't do that.
I think that too, because you had tons of demos in there, and I think that the ones that I picked out, like necessarily, because I listened to all of them, and I went through and I tried to come up with ideas, and those were the ones that the ideas kind of jumped out at me, and that's what, okay, cool, we'll take these and we'll run with them. So
yeah,
I think that the strength and diversity of those songs to begin with, out of the bigger batch, kind of shapes. I don't know. You get what I'm saying?
Well, and it's kind of I definitely get that. And those, there was none of the demos you grabbed where I was like, I hated that one. Because generally the junk ideas don't make it off the hard drive. And there's plenty of them. But I do remember, you getting excited about some of the songs, and a lot of them were drastically refined. Like Fathers had, it's got a completely different bridge. There was no solo section. The chorus piece didn't repeat the third time. So we did a lot of structuring, and you two specifically were heavily involved with that. Like, try this, try that. We were sending a lot of ideas back and forth.
Dude, hey, you know what I wanted to mention last time when we were talking about Hooves? They haven't heard Heads and Hooves yet, the title track. But that was actually, so when we started working together, they sent me some songs. I wrote 2.5, 3 songs, and I flew up to hang out with them, and we kind of practiced and all kind of got a vibe for each other. And then Dan and Matt left, and Jesse and I went in his studio on the last day I was there, and he was like, hey, I got this riff, and he was working on that song. And I was like, oh, hey, try this. And I grabbed your guitar and I was doing it all stupid and upside down. Try this harmony in there. And we kind of, it was cool because that was like all the songs were done when I came in. At least the demos, the rough demos for them already existed. And we sat down at like literally 2 hours after they left. He was emailing out a new demo. Hey, check it out, guys. We just finished a new song.
They weren't even home yet. They were driving from Columbus to Chicago and we're like, check the Dropbox right now.
Yep, it was funny too because I remember before we had left, you were playing with that riff and the main piece of that song we were fiddling with a little bit, and then like next thing I know, we're driving back and we got a new demo. Let's check it out. Holy shit! That little thing that we were just fucking fiddling with just became a song. Cool.
And it was fun too because I mean that was the first song. You know, a lot of times when you know who your members are, you kind of write in a direction. Some of these were written, but we didn't have a singer at the time, so, I was just writing and didn't know where I was going with any of it. But yeah, like you mentioned, Hooves, Old Hymns came, we were already working together. So I had you in mind when I was putting that one together. And that entire song was written around the bridge. The jazz freak out piece.
No
that was the first part of that song.
That.
Yeah. And that was a lick that I've probably been playing it for 15 years.
Yeah, I was going to say
and it just never made it into a song.
That jazz freak out's been around since way back in our Tech Death days when we were playing with like the faceless and stuff. yeah, Tech Death.
Tech Deck days.
Yeah.
We all went through it.
Yep, absolutely. But that was definitely fun to put that song together, with you here too, because there's a couple of things that like the variants in the pre-choruses probably wouldn't have been that way. I would have just repeated them, and you're like, no, make it do a different thing over here.
Fuck it up, man. Make it different.
And you know me, I mean, listen to the bridge of Godless Endeavors. You know I like shit that's hard to count. So and like I can fuck it up.
Yeah, you've been hurting my brain with that for years.
Yeah. You're not the only one to say that, Matt. And
no.
My sense of timing is probably just warped from, very early on, Soundgarden and Alice in Chains were super huge influences, and they love Seven, and then you get into Meshuggah, which is like just a game of find the one, good luck, so, I don't know if that will ever go that bonkers, but I like to sprinkle it in there.
I'm always good shit. You guys know where I come from. Wackadoo shit's what I do.
Yeah, this is tame by all accounts for you. What do you mean there's no 7/4 turnaround on the second bridge?
Yep, pretty much.
Oh yeah. Let's see here. Let's talk a little bit. We talked briefly about tracking on the last live stream. What's up, Ray? Let's go a little bit more into tracking with Rob, Justin. I know that was a big thing for you. Any standouts? Because that's his studio in LA.
Yeah. It was a fucking blast, dude. It was. I was a little nervous. I've tracked all of every record I've ever done up till this one. I did it at my house as I felt like it. Most of them were tracked as I wrote them. Everything that I'd done previously. But same with all these demos. I was a little nervous about tracking because I stack shit. I stack tons and tons of vocals. I was nervous about doing these in 2 or 3 days because we had a budget and we had time restraints. Rob had other projects he had to get done. I had a flight out, so it had to be done in a certain amount of time. So I was nervous about that, and it just flew, man. Rob and I had a blast. It was just hearing it come together. And he had this telephone. So I used to use a megaphone live with Celebrity. I had a mic stand that had the megaphone mounted in it and shit in a previous metal band I sang for. And so I always loved doing the megaphone effects, and I do it all over this album. But Rob had this, it was literally an old like ka-chunk payphone with an XLR out of it. And so all of the megaphone parts are me like into this fucking telephone. It was awesome. He said,
yeah, I thought that was really cool when we got the tracks back, that wasn't a plug-in.
It's not a plug-in, yeah.
Right.
So we used that. We did an SM7 on all the screaming stuff. And he had this giant old tube mic that was like 50 years old. And he's like, hey, man, if you hear it making noise, just flick it really hard. I'm like, I'm not going to flick your $20,000 mic. He's like, yeah, it does it. He's like, you'll hear it and then just do it. And he's like, I'll tell you. And at some point it did it. And it was like flicking a fucking cinder block, bro. It hurt like hell. Perfect. Like, God damn it.
Well, you and Rob had gone back and forth a lot too, right? Like you were sending him demos and he was feeding you feedback, so you were pretty well set. It was just to go in and execute.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know that we changed anything from the production. So like as far as producing vocals, part of it is writing harmonies, rhythmic, all of that stuff. And almost everything that I did in the demos made it on the record. He just basically helped me get album worthy takes, basically. And he helped me with a few different harmonies that I hadn't finished writing. He was sitting there with the piano and I'm like, man, what do you think about these notes? And I literally had my Pro Tools session open in the booth with me, and I'd fold up, I'd scroll. He's like, all right, what's the next part? I'm like, this is a measure 57. And we jump in, and there's even video of me in the booth doing that. It would, I'm sorry, I'm reading the comment and it's distracting me. But so it was, and he's like, all right, what's next, man? I'm like, all right, well, I do a stack here. And he's like, cool, well, give me 5 of them, and then we'll do a backup one. And so there were just tons and tons and tons of tracks, man. I'm proud of myself that I was able to do it in a few days.
I've never seen that many tracks on a vocal ever.
Oh, dude, that's not even, that's nothing.
That's consolidated.
Man. Yeah,
that's what you guys shipped off to John.
Yeah, well, I mean, with this band, it's the lead vocal and then doubles of that, and then a backup, and then the harmonies and doubles of those and backups, and then and then all the metal vocals and the stacks, as in like this part is and then this part is and then we put them together, right? But I mean, in Celebrity, man, it's like, oh, then there's the falsetto part, and then there's this, and there's that, and they all need their own tracks. And so, there are songs with literally like 50, 60 vocal tracks.
That's wild.
Stuff. This was easy. I'm like, I got like a couple little group folders, and I'm good to go.
Cake.
Yeah, I'm reading on. There's a comment here. When you say tube mic, do you mean carbon mic? No, I mean literally, there's a big like bottle tube mic that had freaking 12 AX7s inside it. And I don't mean like smacking it. I mean like I would give it a flick on the body, because there were like it was, it's like 50 years old, and some components would fidget and whatever. He didn't want to get it repaired yet, so he had me flick the body. It's his, man.
I would be worried about fixing something like that. How many times have you taken a tube amp in and get it rebiased or retubed or something, and it comes back, it's not the same? You look at a tube amp wrong, and it doesn't sound the same.
Those, especially those old tube mics, or old anything, those parts, they slowly get out of spec. So if you replace it, they don't sound the same. If you're used to the sound of your tube mic and there's a part that's slowly failing, man, just slowly let it fail until it's unusable. Just let it fail, man.
That capacitor.
Yeah, no, literally, I was. Yeah, no, man, Christian, I was literally flicking his tube mic, and it was his deal, man. It was literally like this big, dude. It was, the body of it was huge.
Yeah. I think that's kind of the tone we got for a lot of this, because John was very complimentary to the demos as well. It was the feedback I got is this is some of the best demos I've ever heard, which is super. You know, the amount of demos that these guys hear and the stuff that we know these fellas work on, for them to be that kind about what we handed them was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the fact that you and I are both engineers goes a long way. You know,
It does.
knowing how to stack guitars and knowing how to track drums and demo drums and not writing drum beats that need 7 arms and
Octopus beats.
yeah, writing.
Well, you know.
What do you mean?
Vocals that are in tune and
Yeah.
make sense. You know, that it goes a long way. Honestly, there was talk about, man, let's just put these out. Fuck them. Let's just the demos really do sound great.
They do. Maybe one day they'll see the light of day.
For sure.
But, but the rough mix demos were a lot of fun.
Yeah.
that's actually the guitars that went, not the demo takes, but the same amp setup. We ended up going back to it after reamping 8 trillion times. Valiant effort, man. But you know when you're used to something and you want it to sound a certain way, and there's also a lot goes into when you're tracking into a tone. You play a certain way, so there's things that'll miss, and I'm a lunatic that will try different picks out for every riff and stuff like that. So
yep,
you got to do it. Anything else? Any memorable moments? Or it doesn't sound like anything was a challenge when you were working with Rob.
Fuck no, man. It was cake, dude. It was just smooth. I had so much fun. Like, let's make another record just so I have an excuse. So to go pay him to let me hang out at his house.
Right. Yeah. I've never been tracked by another engineer. I would love to do that one day. It just be the guitar player. For once, so either you're coming up to track me, or if we go back to John, well, I would love for him to beat my ass for 4 or 5 minutes straight. But Matt, let's talk about tracking the drums. We lightly touched on it last time, but let's dig in.
For sure. Well, I mean, we tracked them.
Yeah, we did.
No, it was a super cool experience, man. John is an absolute fucking genius when it comes to like everything. Like, even though he's not a drummer, like I learned a lot from that guy about drumming. So it was pretty crazy. He definitely pushed not just him. You pushed a lot out of me too, and it was just a lot of taking it to the limit. You know what I mean? Like trying a couple different things in certain areas, but we basically knew what the parts were going to be. But I think one moment that sticks out, like especially for me, is like tracking Fathers. That one was super cool. We were kind of questionable about some certain beats for the tom beats that we were doing. And I didn't like what we originally had, the original idea, because it was too close to like the tom beat and Butter, in my opinion. So we were playing around with some different ideas, and you had actually mentioned, you're like, hey, why don't you do one of those like old school Vinnie Paul beats, that you do? And honestly, like when we did that, I didn't hear it at first. I was like, I don't see how this is gonna fit on this part, but after trying it, it was just like, holy shit, that brought like a whole new life to it. You know what I mean?
That's my favorite part of the song now too.
Same. I remember when I heard that, it caught me off guard. I thought it was fucking sick.
Yeah. So what that was is him and John. I'll paint the picture. John's diligently working, tracking the shit out of this man, and I'm in the couch, sitting on the couch behind John, playing with his cats, and I start yelling like, "Hey, do a Vinnie Paul thing there! Hold that!" And it turned out really cool.
It was like, I don't know, like 5 minutes after you said that, we had it, and it was like, okay, this is what it's gonna be. Bam. And I was like, holy shit, that was super fucking cool, because it wasn't something that came to mind right away for me. You know what I mean? Like I was on like a completely different brainwave of what I was trying to accomplish there. So like, a fresh outlook sometimes is like, whoa, okay,
well, and
that can be really cool.
You had done something in one of the takes, and it was just like the first maybe 2 bars, you did something with 16th notes, and my brain heard it. Like that syncopated Primal Concrete Sledge
Right.
with the double kicks going. And do the Vinnie Paul. And yeah, it was like a take or two later. Yeah, you were done.
Right. Other than that, like, I mean, I think it was like everything was pretty much well put together. We had an idea of what everything was going to be. I think the only big challenge that I really faced was, the bridge and Godless. I think you came up with that like a week before we went into the studio.
It was a late edition, yeah. And
So like it was like, whoa, this is new, number one, and number two, it is like ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
It's a little weird.
So trying to track that became rather difficult. So instead of just, being like, okay, let's build drums here and program and chop stuff up, it was like, okay, let's look at the program drums that were there, put it in front of you on a big TV screen, watch these hits as you're playing and track it. And it took quite a while.
It did.
And it was not fun at first. But after I started kind of getting the hang of it, I was like, okay, this is fucking interesting. And honestly, doing that alone, I think kind of changed my outlook on a lot of things on the way like I actually play. And the way I'm going to be writing pieces for future music that we put together. So I'm really excited about that because that really, I feel like kind of brought me over a hill that I've been struggling to get over for quite some time. So
yeah. So to paint the picture there, like Matt had a 42-inch TV in front of the drum kit, and he was reading the drum MIDI like it was sheet music. Well, because when you're demoing stuff, like you'll throw stuff together, and sometimes most of the time Matt will come in and it'll be a cooler idea than the demo had. But every now and again, something just fits right, and that was one of those pieces that was like, no matter what we tried, it not being like completely syncopated to the rhythm and everything. That's what makes that part so cool. Is everything's locked together and it's just mechanical.
Right.
So
and it's fun. It's as difficult and challenging as it was. Like now, it is such a blast to play that part. Like I get so excited every time I rehearse, and I can't wait to play it live here. It's coming soon. So
yeah, well, that was one of those things. It was such a last minute ad. I don't know if I've told this story publicly. I think we've all talked about it privately, but that song came from my youngest boy, Levi. Was just hammering me with the most heavy shit out of my music collection, and I wanted Fathers or Godless to be even heavier. I'm like, it needs more. It needs a sick breakdown. Because the kids will go through my Apple Music like it's like we went through our dad's CD and tape and record collection, and he's just showing up with the most heinous stuff. Like I'll go into my Apple Music and it's like, oh, somebody added the new cattle decapitation to my Apple Music. Who was it? It was Levi.
Wow.
So they're all in there having a good time, but he likes to come up with the wild stuff. So that's the kind of mind frame I was in there.
My dude.
But it was cool that you put the work into serving the song and getting that. You were hell bent on getting that right. Like there was hours spent on that bridge.
Yeah, I was not gonna just like walk away from that and let it defeat me, and I'm glad I didn't either, because like I said, it turned out super cool, and I think it really pushed me into motivating me to really want to push further in my playing for the future too. So
me and Justin were talking about this the other day when we were getting the rehearsal tracks ready for the May and June runs. And we're like, we did not do ourselves any favors putting these songs together. None of them are a treat.
No, they're definitely pushing the limit again, which is exciting because we haven't really done that in a long time. I feel, we used to push ourselves a lot back in the day, and I really feel like we're getting back to that. So it's exciting.
Yeah, definitely.
Matt Rice in the house.
What up?
Dude, vocally, I'll agree with that, man. I always try and push myself on, and to my detriment, because sometimes I'll like, man, I'm going to sing a higher part, and then live, I'm like, what the fuck did I just do? But you know what? In the end, it's made me a better singer. You know, I'll tell you something I realized recently, because I play guitar too. I play bass. I played in bands and toured with bands on guitar and stuff. But I approach singing the way that I think Jesse approaches guitar, in that, oh man, he's like, hey man, I learned this new technique. I learned this new scale. I learned this new this and that. And I think a lot of singers just like, yeah, man, I could sing fucking whatever. I'm going to do a new record. And it's just the same thing over and over and over.
Yep.
And I try my best to always be singing shit that I've never sung before, like the death metal thing. Like I now I can do imagine somebody who's like, yeah, man, what I play guitar. Yeah, what do you do? Chugs. That's it. No tremolo, no pinch on my just chug. Just chug, 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 chug. That's it.
Open 0-1. Open 0-1.
Max Cavalera. Hey, Max Cavalera made a fucking career out of it. All right, so
hey, the last time we opened for Soulfly, that man didn't even fret a note. He just went.
I've seen him. He just does this stuff. Hey, dude, and I loved every minute of it.
Yeah, and they were fantastic, and he
played
it. He's fun. He knows what he's doing.
But yeah. Anyway, yeah. As far as vocals go, I've always tried to approach it like I'm climbing the next hill and the next hill and the next hill. I'm trying something different every time, and that's what I like about working with you, is that you give me different shit to try all the time. There's different vibes and different parts. So
yeah, and I'm not going to stop doing that. That's what makes it exciting, right? There's stuff, without pushing technique, they're created songs, and that's what it's all for, right? I want a new place, a new vocabulary to speak with. Terrifier from Misery, it came out of hybrid picking. I had never hybrid picked before. And my guitar teacher was beating the shit out of me. He's like, learn it. And I did. And I was trying to hit two birds with one stone. And I was really digging into harmonic minor and the hybrid picking. And that whole damn song came out from that. And there's parts on this album, like Father specifically, I was screwing around with dotted eighth notes. Not really a comfort zone place for me, but that's where you got the bridge.
Or any guitar player for that matter.
What do you mean it's a 1.5 quarter notes? But yeah, that's the most fun part for me, is the push. It's while not being, I don't ever think I'll get to that point where I'm one of those insane dudes that just can play at 8 trillion miles an hour flawlessly and it sounds perfectly edited, like Archspire and all those psycho dudes. Not really the torch that I'm after, but expanding the technique side of it's a lot of fun.
Fuck yeah.
And I beat my own ass tracking these guitars. It wasn't, and I track just like most people. I'll take sections and loop them, because there's a real cool sweet spot you get to, like the 7th, 8th, 9th repetition, where you really lock in to the pocket. And most of the time you don't do that many repeats of a part, so you never really get to that. So I'll loop it, and then I'll take all of the takes down and pick the best parts. But I tracked every single part, and meticulously, because I wanted to be as little editing as possible. And all of the rhythm guitars were this monster.
Oh, you mean you didn't record them all at once in one take, you fucking poser?
I know, poser, but this thing is the reason the rhythm guitars sound the way they do. This is
Are those the DiMarzios? Which pickups are those?
No, these are the Seymour Duncans, the Jupiters.
Nerd.
But the secret with these things, it's a 27-inch scale neck. So the dirty tones, I was able to get away with lighter strings down in our super low tunings. Then that apparently is the secret to really sick high gain tones, is not having bridge cables for guitar strings. Now, I found it to be the opposite for all the clean stuff. Yeah, all the clean and the mid gain tones were super heavy fat boys. And this guitar.
Nice.
Same pickups, a Jupiter and a Cynthia, but this is all coil tapped, so I can single coil all
Nice.
these ones.
Nice.
This was the main guitar on Misery, except for the track Misery. That was done with a 26.5-inch Ibanez RGD.
Matt, which snare did you use on the record? Was it a brass?
Black nickel over brass, yeah. 14x8 DW collector series.
It was
Brass.
his snare with
Yeah.
John's hoops on it, right?
Yeah,
Dude,
he
fucking
put a
brass is the way
die-cast
to
hoop
go.
on it.
Nice.
Yeah, we used I used my 14x8 Babinga walnut on the last one, and it sounded great, but I definitely think that brass one was the right
Yeah.
choice for this one.
And the toms were crazy too.
Oh God, yeah.
I saw it too.
Now, I would put money on the fact that that wasn't my wife. That was one of my kids. That gets sent around this house more times than I can count today.
Is that the reference to the video? Daddy, chill.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, like, oh, Dad said no again. Dad, chill. Daddy, chill. Turds. Oh,
I
that's
call my
funny.
kids turds too. That's funny.
Turds and
Holy
turkeys is what mine get called.
Turkey's nice.
Yeah, that's
Shit,
It's
it
good
was
stuff.
the kids.
See, I knew it. I knew it.
Awesome.
See?
This is metal as fuck. Sorry.
Oh, they've heard that plenty.
Well, I've hung out there too, so.
Yeah, I don't have my PC filter only functions in a professional environment. I can't do it at home.
I'm always dropping fuck bombs.
Yeah. What do you?
What else we got?
Is there anything else you wanted to touch on, Matt? Tracking down at John's, other than all the cats that I met.
I mean, I don't think so. Not off the top of my head. We definitely had a blast. There was a lot of kitties everywhere.
There was. Every 5 minutes, I would be sending Justin a new picture of a new cat. And he's like, "What are you doing? Where are you? Are you at the... Did you go to the animal shelter? I thought you were in the studio."
It was like 5. It was literally like 5 fucking cats, dude. I'm like,
Oh,
you want
shit.
studio updates? I'm like, where the fuck did you find another cat?
Yeah, no, nobody cares about the drums. More cats.
Dude, seriously.
Oh shit.
But yeah, I mean, I know we touched a little bit about the art and the direction last time, and definitely wanted the vibe. And I think Jason really hit the nail on the head, and he was like, "It's got a Texas Chainsaw vibe," which was everything I wanted. And the merch fits right with it. And I think it looks like the album sounds, and that's Misery's cover art was super cool too, and I think it fit the album. So we've been lucky 2 times in a row.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I'm super happy with the merch. I'm super happy with the layout. I can't wait to see them in person. Jason's hoarding all the CDs right now.
Motherfucker.
What we got? It's okay. I got the koozies.
I've just
some of the koozies.
I've just been drinking my slurm.
But yeah, okay. I think that covers a lot of the nitty gritty details. If anybody's got any questions, throw them in the chat. I know we had some fan questions we got ahead of time. Justin threw that post out. Let me find my notes here. Favorite Street Fighter character?
Wait, hold on, Coma White.
Oh, I forgot. We did Coma White. And we
yeah.
did an acoustic studio version of it after the Trace Pendejos.
Did you
fun.
really?
We did.
Oh.
That was the same time we did Planet Caravan.
Yep.
Ooh, send me that shit. I'll do it. I mean, I don't know if we could put it out, but I'd fucking record it.
Yep, if I put it out, and I'll put it on a fucking flash drive, and we'll order it from the website.
Hell
Come
yeah.
and find me. Now, one cool thing I think we would do with there's something I want to record with Justin that's not technically a Beneath the Hollow song that I would like to get out sooner than later.
Agreed.
Oh, You talk. Oh, okay. I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. I mean,
We all know what he's talking about.
Well, we're playing it live, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, we're gonna do that soon.
Hell yeah.
Christian, hit me up some way. I know you're not on most social media anymore, but hit me up some way. I'll get you the master file of that. You can have comb away.
Sweet. So Street Fighter characters, I was more of a Mortal Kombat, but I played with Blanca a lot.
So yeah,
Anybody?
I've never played Street Fighter.
They're too young for this shit.
we were Mortal Kombat guys
Yeah,
too.
Mortal Kombat guys. So I'll pick a Mortal Kombat character, and the only answer is Scorpion.
Scorpion, obviously.
Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero's the second best. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Finisher.
It's the vanilla of Mortal Kombat characters.
Matt, do you have one?
I gotta agree with you. You really you hit it on the head. Those are the two like that everybody would go for. It was either Sub-Zero or Scorpion.
Have you guys seen the newer Mortal Kombat? I thought it was really good.
I have
The
not.
movie?
Yeah.
Oh, God, it's fucking killer. I can't wait for the new one.
I dug it.
So check it out. Funny, real quick, Mortal Kombat story. I had a friend in the town I grew up in who bought out an arcade and used to refurbish arcade machines. And my old drummer bought a Mortal Kombat machine from him, but my drummer lived in San Antonio. So when it was ready, he brought it over to my fucking house, and it was on my back porch for like a whole summer. So I had my own fucking Mortal Kombat arcade, full-size arcade machine.
Oh, that's so cool.
And actually, I think Raiden was the character that I beat the game with. My favorite character.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Now that I mention it, but yeah, that was the thing, and I couldn't fucking play it for shit. Now that was almost 20 years ago.
And then I think this was the last one, unless you got any more, Justin. Is what's your favorite federal crime?
We discussed that earlier.
Sax evasion.
Well, I gotta say, maybe blowing up mailboxes.
I was going to say assassination, but I probably shouldn't say that.
No, don't say that.
I was never here.
I'm a fan of the historically. No, never mind.
I thought I was taking the tag off the mattress.
That's right.
Right.
There you go. That one's fun.
What was it? Wasn't one of them the our favorite non?
Oh yeah.
Our favorite razor to wrist that we didn't play on.
Favorite razor to wrist release that doesn't involve one of us.
Purgatory. Period.
Purgatory. Nice.
I mean, you said Sex Offender and the Knives Out. I mean, I fucking love those two.
Mine would be 4. Black Mass Hysteria, Aloha from El Creepo, Sex Offender from Polka Dot, and I really love the In the Blind record too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Dude, Aloha doesn't get enough love. I fucking love that record.
Yep.
I gotta say, for me, like my top 2 would be the two Knives Out records, both Black Mass Hysteria and Left in the Lurch. But I mean, you really can't go wrong going through their catalog. There's so much in there, and
and not to leave out the kings of the mushroom cult. I mean, if I was gonna pick a favorite DFD album, I think while they're all awesome, Ad Nauseum is my favorite.
Really?
Front to back,
Dude,
dirty.
Adultery, bro. Adultery is
great album. Great album.
It's kind of like, maybe they've outdone it since then, but it's almost like when you listen to Led Zeppelin now, you're like, fucking whatever. It's blues rock. Everybody has blues rock. But at the time, it was fucking mind blowing. Maybe that's where Adultery is. It was that record just blew my fucking mind.
I was a late comer to the DFD. I found
me too.
Polka Dot first, then Knives Out, and then somehow got adopted by these dudes.
I do gotta say too, man, cult classic, like one of the more recent ones. That fucker's heavy, man. That fucker is heavy. Like I like that.
That's good stuff.
Fuck yeah. Fuck off and goodbye.
Yes, I love that fucking track.
They do no wrong. They don't put it. That group's never put out anything that was subpar. But yeah, Ad Nauseum's got some of my favorite tunes on it, like Envy the Vultures. I've been nagging Todd to play that song for ages.
Yep. Dude, Vultures and God, what is the fucking piano one? Send a bottle out to sea. Yeah. The fuck is that song? I love that fucking song. Anyway, Matt Rice wants to know our favorite Testament record. Matt, you already know my fucking favorite Testament record because the only answer is Low. Low is the best Testament record, period, hands down, period.
Do you want my favorite Pantera record instead? I never got too much into thrash stuff. Wasn't my cup of tea.
Bro, Low. You need to listen to Low. So it's a fun roller coaster of material with Testament. They started off sounding a lot like Slayer, and then they got a little heavier and heavier, and then they tried to get Golden Mirage. That's right. They tried to get more commercial, like after the Black Album came out, and everybody hated it. So they were like, fuck it. So they drop tuned and started playing death metal. And that album's called Low, and it's like thrash death. It is so fucking heavy. It is the coolest record ever. It is such a sick record. And the one after that had Gene Hoglan on it called Demonic.
Gene's awesome.
That album makes me want to fucking kick puppies, bro. I would never hit a dog. That's my way of saying, like, it makes me want to fucking break boards at a karate championship. Wow. Like I just want to fucking hit stuff, dude.
Oh shit.
Awesome.
But yeah, Jesse's answer is basically the same as mine. I mean, we grew up together. We had the same, musical upbringing. So like Testament wasn't one I really ever got into. So I can't pick a favorite for that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'll give you my favorite Pantera record, it's Tranquil. So
ugly. Fucking me too. Yeah, I love that album.
So ugly. I love
Tranquil and Far Beyond. Those two are so fucking awesome.
But gun to my head, you took Desert Island. I could only have one. Tranquil.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, dude, Vinnie Paul's like my main influence. Like 13 Steps, fucking Becoming. You can't beat that shit.
And sonically, that record was so awesome. And like, how do you get a better sounding album than Far Beyond Driven? Tranquil. And they did it somehow.
I love it. Yeah. That's my favorite, hands down. Cowboys for the leads. Sure, yeah, but I'm not a fucking lead guitar player, so whatever.
I mean, Cowboys probably arguably does have his best lead work, but his best songs are later in the catalog.
No,
yeah, there were some gems there too, man. Like the
I think, dude, Floods. I think Floods is my favorite Dimebag.
Yeah.
Solo.
I think Tens is highly underrated too.
Yep.
That one gets overlooked a lot.
All great points.
I concur. Well, we're getting close to the top of the hour, guys. So want to take a minute to thank everybody for tuning in and shooting the shit with us, hanging out. If you haven't yet, head to razortowrist.com.
I flipped my camera so I can just point in the right direction.
Yeah, I had no idea what I was doing there. razortowrist.com. Go do the thing. There's tons of awesome merch. Thank you guys so much for supporting. The reaction to this release has been fantastic. We couldn't thank you enough and appreciate it. Tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your grandma, get a hoodie, get a t-shirt, get a CD and a sweet koozie. Just tell everybody.
It looks like Mike's trying to come back. There he is.
My camera's not working, which I'm not upset about. So we go through that.
Hey, dude, the Silver Fox demographic. Come on, man.
That spikes on the charts, bro.
So blowing right past that, don't forget that we've got tour shows coming up for both bands. So check out razortowrist.com/tours for both Polka Dot and Beneath the Hollow dates, as well as beneaththehollow.com/shows to see, what dates that they have as well.
Good
so
point,
appreciate you guys hopping on and talking about the music and the awesome album or EP that you are soon to be putting out. I can't wait for fans to get it in their hands. They're really going to love it. So thanks, everybody.
Appreciate it. That's a good point. So we'll be out 6/20 at the Foundry in Cleveland with Polka Dot Cadaver. 6/21 will be in Eaton Rapids, Michigan for a headliner for the CD release party. Looking forward to that. Adam, Jessica, we can't wait to see you guys. And then we'll be in Appleton, Wisconsin on 5/29 at the Cold Shop. And we will be at Top Fuel Saloon in Braidwood, Illinois, 5/31. So come hang out with us. Can't wait to see you guys.
Hell yeah.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys.